Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Midnight Club. And this is the latest Mike Flanagan Netflix horror series, part of the Flaniverse, apparently according to Netflix. And Mike Flanagan, I would argue, is the best horror director working today. So basically, any time that he has a new series coming out on Netflix, I'm pretty darn excited. And this one feels a little bit different. This isn't like some dark gothic kind of horror film. It isn't some kind of big community thing like Midnight Mass. This is a coming of age story with a bunch of teenagers who have terminal illnesses, and at midnight they come together and tell stories to each other. And obviously there's some bigger narrative threads going on besides, like, you know, the teenage drama that's going on between these young people, the maybe budding romances that are popping up, or the fact that they're dealing with the fact that they're going to die very, very young. And you have all that drama. I would say probably the weakest thing about this is the overarching, like, other stuff going on. Like, there's some culty kinds of things that are looped into this story as well. But where I think this really thrives is this teenage drama, the connections that they have, the different things that are haunting them, because there's some really freaky stuff going on in this particular house, this hospice at Brightcliffe. And the young cast here is absolutely fantastic. Iman Benson, Igby Rigney, Ruth Codd, and everybody else that comes together to make this group of young people, they're really selling it. And they do fantastic jobs, and they have a lot of heavy lifting to do, because not only do they play these characters, but they play characters within their stories. And they have to do all this other kinds of heavy lifting. You even get some nice appearances from people like Robert Longstreet, who was in Dr. Sleep, and by Flanagan, and you also get Henry Thomas and Alex Esso, and Rahul Kohli, who is in Blythe Manor. You get all these Flanagan regulars popping up in these different stories, and each of these different stories feels like we're getting a nice dose of, like, Twilight Zone horror here, except Flanagan style. And they're all kinds of different stories. There's nice variety. In many ways, this feels like an anthology series, but wrapped with some poignant, emotional character connections that we want to actually care about when they're interacting with each other. But then it's also pretty cool when we get to see these different stories they come up with. And they even have some fun along the way with, you know, you have this one particular story that's in the first episode where it's just like a string of like 15 jump scares in a row. And, like, it's obviously having fun with it too. This film can be a little bit meta in terms of its commentary on horror, because it's a bunch of teenagers coming up with horror stories and criticizing each other and giving each other notes and stuff like that. But it has the scares, it has the great Mike Flanagan atmosphere, but it also has that deep emotion and these strong characters and strong performances from the young cast. It comes together, not perfectly, and it's not my favorite Flanagan. I still think Haunting a Hill House really takes the ticket, and Midnight Mass was something else. And even this is lower than Blythe Manor for me, but this was still a fun, fresh, different kind of take from Mike Flanagan, and it was welcomed for me. I enjoyed this a lot. I thought that they really excelled with this whole, like, midnight club telling stories kind of idea, and offered something interesting